to sit and have a little conversation today. You know, I started this channel by the encouragement of my wife. She said, you know, you go out and you do a lot of things, and yeah, there's a lot of homestead channels out there. There's a lot of channels for the country life and so on and so on, and that's great. That's great. There's a lot of information out there, and as long as we can keep sharing this information, that's even better, because we can avoid making a lot of costly mistakes. There's a lot of instances that we go through things the hard way. You know, I fought with this tractor for 6 months and didn't have to. I just couldn't find the information I was looking for. It turned out my tractor would just shut off, and as I was running, it got to be, I'd turn it on and the time span would get shorter and shorter before it would shut itself off. Well, finally I just started asking people questions. I'm thinking relaying this because I would hear a distinctive click. Then I found, hey, actually my Mahindra dealer said, hey man, check the fuel shutoff solenoid. He said, if it's getting hot, it's going to shut off. I checked that, sure enough, replaced it, and bam. I fought with this thing over 6 months and I didn't have to do it. It wasn't an expensive fix. I didn't have to do it. It took 10 minutes. I put a video up about it. Ended up having to do it in 3 sections, but I'm learning. But it took like 10 minutes to fix it. And I fought with this thing for 6 months. Had to borrow my neighbor's tractor. And, you know, and I have some really gracious neighbors, some great neighbors, and they were nice enough to allow me to do that. But I mean, I shouldn't have had to. So we're a community. We help each other out. Because you know what? I don't think anybody's born knowing how to do all this stuff. That being said, I would really love for y'all to like and subscribe while it's on my mind. Like and subscribe and share this channel so other people can. Because you know, I learn off of this too. I can learn from y'all. If y'all put it in the comments, give me some suggestions. Hey, that's awesome. But I want to talk about some other things. Tell you a little bit about myself and what we do here. I have a full-time job. I'm not a full-time homesteader. I'm not off-grid. And you know, those people that are living off-grid, that's awesome for y'all. Y'all Doug and Stacy and people like that. Hey, that is awesome. That's great. And I'm gonna tell you, I don't mind watching other videos. I don't mind telling y'all watch other videos, because that's how you learn. You know, you sit down, you get you a cup of coffee, watch a couple of videos, especially if there's a topic you're looking for, maybe something that you've been wanting to do, a problem you've been trying to solve. Look it up, you know. Chances are that problem you're having is not unique. You're not the first one to come across it, okay? You know, it's kind of like the Bible. Every problem you come across is in there because somebody's already done it. So our homesteading is the same way. Our country living the same way. Every problem you're going to run across, somebody's already run across that problem. So if y'all have noticed, I got a bunch of these black, we call them love bugs, flying all over. You know, they, from what I understand, they come to an engine or something because of the heat. But at any rate, I'll be glad when this tractor cools off, because they're coming around. And y'all know it's been hot too. It's been so hot. I think my chickens were sweating the other day. I'm telling you what, it's been hot. But the other thing I want to tell you about is just a little bit about us and, you know, our family. We live in a small house, an adequate house. We raised 5 great kids. We homeschool all five of our kids, and they've all grown and gone about their own lives. I'm a veteran. My dad is a veteran. My stepdad is a veteran. My father-in-law is a veteran. My son is active. I've got now 11 grandkids. I just had a set of twins born yesterday. All right. And some more boys too. So got somebody to come help me on the homestead one day. And now I got a big old bumblebee, thinking that go on now, go on. Oops. Now I also, now y'all get to watch me be bald while I go get my hat so I don't get stung on my head. See, and that's what it's all about, keeping it real, staying true. on our little homestead, we've got some chickens, we've got some rabbits, and I've got a couple hives of bees. So we do a little bit of everything. We were in hogs at one time. I'm going to be getting back into some pigs. And we don't do things for money. We don't sell, I mean, not to any measurable. We sell a few eggs here or there, or I might sell a rabbit here or there, some chickens here or there, stuff like that. But we don't make our living here. We do it mostly because we like it. And also, the Lord's given us this opportunity. We're not going to squander it, not knowingly anyway. I am going to openly tell everybody. I'm sure nobody's curious about this because, I mean, the shirt that I'm wearing, most of y'all recognize it. I'm a Christian, Jesus Christ my Lord and Savior, and I will openly profess that. And if that bothers you to the point where that's a deal breaker, then, you know, so be it. I hope you find Jesus however it is that he presents himself. There's the one way to heaven, and that's, you know, the Bible tells us I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No man gets to the Father except through me. And that's what I believe, and that's what I profess, and that's what I share. However, this is not a gospel channel, but don't expect me not to say anything about it either, because this is a real channel, and that's my life. We live in East Texas on 10 acres. When we got here, it was black gumbo. The front yard was the only place that had any kind of resemblance of grass, and that was spotty. Now, just through time, and when we mow, we leave everything lay, and it's now becoming more grassy. My wife loves to cut the grass with the push mower. That's her exercise, and she won't have it any other way. And so that's one of the reasons why our grass looks good, because we use mulching blades. And again, we just live the country life. We do some fishing. As you see, I got a little tank behind me. Do a little fishing. We have a local lake. It's not too far. I like to fish. I like to hunt. National Forest is about half a mile, give or take, as the crow flies. And we'll do some hunting there. So, and that's kind of our life. And like I said, I just kind of wanted to let y'all know a little bit about me. Okay? I've learned some things in my life that work. I've learned some things that don't work. I've learned some easy lessons. I've learned some hard lessons. But one of the things that I'm learning, especially through this YouTube journey, is I'm not that special. And by that I mean I'm not that much different than most of y'all out there. We do our thing, y'all do y'all's thing, and we do the best we can at it. We put our faith in God and try to hone our abilities. And that's just what we do. We grow gardens. Those of you that can't grow a garden, I bet you can. I bet you can. You just got to change how it is you're doing it. I want to touch a little bit about what's going on nowadays. And because I know YouTube and videos last forever, we're in September 2020. 2020 has been a year to remember that you really don't want to. A year that is worth forgetting, and we're never going to. 2020 has shown us a lot of things if we'll open our eyes and look. 2020 has been a year full of heartbreak, fear, aggression, and the list can just go on and on. The pandemic, the riots, the civil unrest. It's one of those things that your kids are going to ask you about one day, and your grandkids are going to ask you about one day. You know, I remember 9/11, and I was sitting on the couch when the towers were hit, and I remember calling my wife in from the other room. She was cooking breakfast. I was off work that day, and she was cooking breakfast, and I called her in there, and I saw this. They had gone over and said that there was an accident. Then when they were filming it, they actually saw the other plane live going into the other tower. And I remember telling my wife we're at war. And as we're going through it, you know, they're still trying to figure out what's going on and everything. Then here come the Pentagon and then Pittsburgh or Pennsylvania. You know, the tragedies there. And then our kids were all in bed, and I went in and I prayed. I prayed over each and every one of them because I knew their life was never going to be the same. They would never have the childhood that I grew up with. The world was changing, and I say that to say this: 2020 will change the world again. This will not be the same as it was in 2019. As much as we would like to return to normal has changed. And that's just one of those things. Now, I'm going to tell you, the Bible tells us Satan comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And I believe he's doing it. That's what I'm going to stand on. And again, if Christianity doesn't work for you, you might want to find another channel. I am a pastor, but that's not why I'm here. I'm not here to preach to you. I'm here to tell you things that I've learned. And hopefully you can share some things that you've learned. But what we've got to do is hold our family close. We've got to teach our kids what's right and what's wrong. We've got to teach our kids respect for others. We've got to teach, and that's what all this boils down to. All this civil unrest boils down to having respect for one another. You know, and I know I'm kind of getting on a soapbox, but if we can't have respect for one another, you know what that shows? That shows we don't respect ourselves. We might put ourselves up on some kind of false pedestal, but we don't respect ourselves, because somebody that doesn't respect themselves doesn't know how to respect somebody else. It all boils down to respecting each other and love one another. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what religion you are. I'm going to respect you until you give me a reason not to. I'm going to love you, and ain't nothing you can do about that. Y'all have heard me say that before. But you know what? When we stop teaching our kids to respect us as parents and our grandparents, how many of y'all have ever heard somebody say, and it might be one of y'all, I don't know, say, hey, you know, we don't tell our kids no. Well, I got news for you. Somebody's going to tell your kid no. So it might as well be you first, because somebody's going to tell them no. And if they can't accept no, they're going to live in your basement till they're 40, and you're going to keep feeding them until they're 50. And then you're going to feed their kids. Okay? Somebody's going to tell them no. Their boss is going to tell them no. Their customer's going to tell them no. Their loan officer is going to tell them no. Somebody's going to tell them no. And they got to know how to deal with that. Rejection is part of life. Rejection is part of life. Hey, I'm not going to keep going on and on. Y'all know where I'm coming from. But this channel, I want y'all to share with me. I'm going to share with y'all. Hey, respect one another, love one another, respect authority. Let's get along, okay? Let's stop judging one another and start working with one another. Also, moving on. Sorry about that little squirrel trail, but there it is. Moving on. Out here, we shoot guns. We carry Bibles. We have respect for one another and for our elders. We fish, we hunt, we harvest. That's the kind of channel this is. We do the family thing in the country. I'll admit I'm a transplant. I've been out on this land for about 20 years. I grew up in, I guess you could call it the rural suburbs. Grew up with horses and animals and working. I've worked all my life. My first job, my first paying job, I got when I was, I think, 14 years old. And I've worked ever since. And I say that because I know I share the same story as most of y'all out there. We've worked all our life, and that's not a bad thing. That's really not a bad thing. I appreciate those that have money. I appreciate them giving me a job. You know, a lot of people you hear, oh, well, if they got money, they need to share it. Brother, they are sharing it. They're giving people jobs, allowing them to make a living. You know, when when Charlie Daniels passed away, I read a little article his son had done. And don't quote me on this, I'm going off memory, but there was some, I think he said 20 or 30 people, I don't remember how many, that he had kept gainfully employed for 45 years. 45 years. That man that had money kept these people gainfully employed all those years. I think he shared what he had. People that have money, they have money for a reason. Most of them have earned it, and I love every minute of it, even when I'm complaining and sweating. But hey, fishing season's coming up, guys. Let's change gears a little bit. Fishing season's coming up. It's cooling off. They said in a week or so it's going to be, the low's going to be in the high 60s, and we're in September. So isn't that awesome? But hey, once again, I'm going to just kind of sum it up. Me and my wife and our baby girl, our 2-year-old, or I'm sorry, she's 4 now. Wow, they just keep growing. She's our 4-year-old. We're out here, she's starting to learn how to do things. We're out here and we're making a living off the land. Said I go to work, I pay my bills, and we're just loving it. I mean, I don't really know how to explain where I'm at with it. I just want y'all to go along the journey with us. I want y'all to experience what we get to experience. You know what, this channel is not just for people who live out in the country. A lot of y'all who live out in the country might even find it boring, because y'all have already done this, or you're doing it every day just like I am. I hope you don't. I hope I'm able to keep your attention, keep it entertaining, if you will. But you know what? Let's go through this journey together. If you live in the city, if you live in the suburb, if you live in a neighborhood, hey, go along the journey with us anyway. There's nothing wrong with that. You might learn something. You never know when the opportunity is going to present itself for you to be on a place like this. You know, again, God has truly blessed me. I got this little fishing tank behind me. It's got a few bass and some perch and whatnot. As you see, we got our ducks out there. I really sometimes just enjoy sitting out, drinking my coffee, sitting by the pond, watching the wildlife come to life. We get deer out here sometimes. Hadn't had any pigs yet, but you know, as the old saying goes in Texas, there's ranches that have pigs and there's ones that will have pigs. And that's just the way it is with wild pigs. But you know what? Most of all, let's take a little bit of time, a little bit of effort to let people know we care about them.